Joining me now from our bureau in Washington, D.C., Breitbart News Pentagon correspondent Kristina Wong. Kristina, this is kind of like watching water boil, right? You're looking at the pot, you're staring at it, and you see these little bubbles one by one coming up as the pot gets warmer and warmer. That's what impeachment is, the so-called hyper-constitutional impeachment inquiry is right now. You have these bubbles coming up, and so we have more bubbles coming up. Let's face it, more than half of the Democrat caucus in the House of Representatives is now on record in favor of impeachment. However, that said, I firmly believe, here it is, October 2019. These folks don't come back until about 2 weeks into September. If impeachment was going to take place, I firmly believe that it would be underway right now. The process officially, the constitutional process, would be underway right now. So Nancy Pelosi, in effect, is never going to let that pot boil.
Yes, exactly right, Graham, and thanks for having me on. So this week we saw 5 Democrats come out in favor of impeachment. Like you said, it's a very slow boil. Ever since Democrats in Congress left for a break, there's been about 20 or so Democrats who've joined the call. Only 9 in August alone, which was supposed to be a huge month. 12 progressive groups joined together for what they call Impeachment August, but we've only seen 9 or so join, and none of them actually have come from very vulnerable districts. So you don't have Democrats who are in swing districts coming out. You don't have leaders coming out. You did have Representative Ben Ray Lujan, who is the number 4 Democrat in the House, come out, but he's leaving the House and he's campaigning for the Senate in 2020. Yeah. So that's kind of a rarity. And Nancy Pelosi is still very much against this idea. She just released a memo, it didn't mention impeachment, encouraging Democrats to talk about the agenda and, things constituents care about. So I think you're seeing that boil, but I don't see that it's convinced her yet.
No, the heat's not on high, that's for sure, because Nancy Pelosi can see the polling. She can read the polling, and the polling is the vast majority of Americans don't want impeachment. And if they do impeach, and if they are on the record for impeachment, even these Democrats in these safe districts should be targeted by Republicans and people who understand the constitutional process and how they're trying to circumvent and just harm this president. But the bottom line is they would be in favor of impeaching a strong economy. They would be in favor of impeaching tax cuts. They would be in favor of impeaching a strong military, less government, and more liberty. That would be what they're on the record for if they're in favor of any form of impeachment, either constitutional or hyper-constitutional. But that brings me to Joe Biden, who wants to be president of the United States more than anything, I think. And so he's got his wife out there, Jill Biden, and she's ostensibly making the case to vote for her husband. But she's doing it in kind of an odd way if you listen to her words, and I have them. Roll tape.
Your candidate might be better on, health care than Joe is. But you've got to look at who's going to win this election. And maybe you have to swallow a little bit and say, okay, I sort of personally like so-and-so better. But your bottom line has to be that we have to beat Trump.
So I guess the new campaign slogan for Biden is swallow and vote for Joe. I don't know exactly what she's telling people to swallow. Is it swallow their pride, swallow their dignity, swallow their constitutional rights? I don't know what it is, but this isn't exactly a rousing endorsement of your husband.
No, it was just a badly worded and very awkward endorsement. I mean, it's sort of a Biden-esque gaffe, if you will, and it's not particularly inspiring. Democrats are hoping to inspire voters who didn't come out in 2016, but this is a, please vote for me because, I'm the best shot that you have according to the polls. Well, we saw how the polls turned out in 2016. This is very Hillary 2.0. And, as Biden's wife, she's supposed to be his top supporter. And here she is saying, You might not like Joe. He might not be the best on health care, but he's the best we got. So it's just a very weird message.
And of course, national polling, the most recent stuff, is showing that Joe Biden is still leading, has a commanding lead if you believe the national polling. But it's Iowa, of course, that most eyes are trained on right now. There was a straw poll showing Joe Biden winning, but Pete Buttigieg, surprisingly, I think, and Elizabeth Warren right at his heels. And maybe this is why he's starting to run a series of ads already in Iowa.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.